If you're going to play Warcraft, don't be that person that falls behind. Oh, I'm tired of this game. I'm bored after 3 weeks, and then come back to the game at the end of the expansion and wonder why you have no gold, you can't fly, and everything's hard to get into.
Boys, I came across this fucking thing. Check this out. Watch this. A 34 slot bag. There's a 34 slot bag in Waking Shores, exactly where I am right now. It's a BOE 34 slot Misty Satchel. Right here is 5853 in the Waking Shores, right in behind a waterfall. Right here, you'll see a little chest. I have already looted it. On the waterfall, there's just this little like handhold thing. So that's where you kind of swoop in on the top end of the waterfall right here. You can fly right into it. So again, 5853 in Waking Shores.
The hardest raid bosses of all time. Part 8. We got Kill Jaden, the final boss in the Tomb of Sargeras raid from the Legion expansion. This fight was a modern-day guild killer. World first came in 654 attempts, and we didn't get the second one until around the 900 mark, because this fight was a monster. During phase 1, there were several meteors that would come down and hit like an absolute truck. Then it had another mechanic where an orb would pop up in each corner of the room, and when it exploded, it knocked you back like 80% off the platform. So your group had to be very careful about positioning and moving as a unit, because one false step would send you off of the platform to your death. Then came a phase where your entire group would get surrounded by complete darkness. And guess what? The orbs would come during this phase too. So a big problem, because nobody could see the orbs unless you sent somebody to look for them. And if you managed to make it through that, you were then met with a dot in the final phase that would take for 1 million damage every 2 seconds. Yeah, hats off if you got cutting edge to this one. It was hard.
5 super important things to do in preparation for dragon flight. 1. Breathe fire. 2. Say bye to Anthony. 3. Practice soaring. 4. Throw out graze. 5. End things with Kevin.
This is one of WoW's longest unsolved mysteries that spanned across 5 expansions. So our story begins in the Burning Crusade. There's a hidden spot in the hills of Negron that you can only reach by flying to it. And if you make your way up there, you'll find what seems to be a daycare of sorts, run by a female troll named Chale. It seems innocent enough at first, but the longer that you stay there, the more you'll start to notice eerie little details, like a cage with a child-sized skeleton locked inside, or a doghouse filled with rotting meat. The whole vibe of this place just seems completely off. And for a long time, there wasn't a whole lot of information surrounding the purpose of this area or who Chale was. So it caused a lot of players to start speculating. There were a ton of theories ranging from Chale being a cannibal who ate children to this just being a quirky developer Easter egg. And there was very little closure given by Blizzard on this area until Warlords of Draenor. It was then that a quest was added in New Negron called An Old Friend, where you had to seek out an old orc shaman named Garok. When you find him, he'll tell you that he's pretty close to death, but he has one dying wish: to get to the bottom of his wife's death. He never got clarity on exactly how she died, but he has his fair share of suspicions. And those are mainly pointed at our troll friend from earlier, Chale, who has taken up residence in a nearby cave. Why does he have these suspicions, you may ask? Well, number 1, motive. Garok said that Chale was intensely jealous of the love that he and his wife shared. And number 2, she appears to have completely stopped aging, as she has been able to maintain her youthful appearance after all of these years. But the problem? He doesn't have hard evidence linking Chale to the murder of his wife. And that's where we come in. He wants us to confront Chale and tell her that he's dying, and that his last wish is that he finally finds out what happened to his wife. So you head out to the cave and talk to Chale. And upon interacting with her, she transforms into Garok's wife and reveals that she's actually a shapeshifter who kills people to stay young. Oh, and that she's also able to transform into somebody after she kills them. So you start to take her out, but just before you actually kill her, she transforms into her old troll model from the Burning Crusade. Which, sidebar, I wonder if her troll form is actually her true form, or if that's just a form of somebody that she killed previously. Anyways, after the battle is over, you return to Garok, and you're finally able to give him the closure that he needs to be at peace. After which he just lays down to die, ready to join his wife and whatever lies beyond. Pretty creepy, but at least we had a wholesome ending.
Nice.
True.
Really good. It was great. Really great. That was a bit rich, but okay. All right. I said, all right. Actually, that wasn't very nice. It was horrible. And everything was lovely once again.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, I was filling my cheeks.
Yeah.
So as not to taste it so much. My hands went hot and people were looking at me. Then I got to the trifle, soggy cake. And that was even more horrible.
All right, let me check my talents. Oh God. Oh God. Oh boy. Oh. Oh fuck. Oh God. I got, guys, I gotta lay down. This is just, God, we gotta lay. I'm done. I'm out. Yeah, I'm out. Let's go.
Don't ever shake hands with this man.
When I pee, what I do is I don't have any ability to aim my so I have to redirect the urine with my hands. So kind of like a reflect thing. So I put my hand and I piss at my hand and then it deflects it straight down and just drips down my hand. But then sometimes I gotta redirect that flow as well with, you know, my other hand, kind of like it falls and then rolls off. Then I've got piss colored hands. Crazy.
Best time to tune in, thanks.
Belt. But there it is. I needed to give me that. I need the belt, guys. Yo, Fox, give me the. I need the belt. Fox, I need the belt right now. I need the belt. Get you, lose me the belt. I need the belt. Please give me the belt, Fox. I need the belt. He says roll. Okay, fine. Real roll? What do you mean? Belt.
The hardest raid bosses of all time. Part 4. Coming in hot, we got Ragnaros from the Firelands at 538 attempts before the world first kill. Part of what made this one so hard was his length, as one attempt would easily take you 15 plus minutes. Also, he had 4 phases, and of course, the last one was the hardest. But also, there was just a plethora of mechanics to deal with. You had a set of ads that would spawn at random locations, you had to kite meteors around, you had to constantly dodge fires, you had to do a safety dance, you had to coordinate where your raid was standing so you wouldn't get one shot, and you had to have designated people that would run around and so stoke little fires across the room. Basically, doing this fight made you feel like you were the conductor for a symphony of mass chaos. And even though some of the top guilds were able to down it pre-nerf, the rest of the player base didn't even come close. So Blizzard had to go back and nerf him to the ground. They reduced his HP by 10%, then went back and reduced it again by another 15%, reduced his damage by 15%, and then just straight up removed one of his abilities altogether. Yeah, this one was rough. Really made me want to Alt F4. The hardest raid bosses of all time, part 3. We have Archimond, who was the last boss in the Hellfire Citadel raid, which came right after Blackrock Foundry, so for some context, that's 2 back-to-back raids with historically difficult end bosses. The world first on this one was snagged in 472 attempts, but it was mechanically a nightmare. In phase 1, it had a mechanic where 2 people would get targeted, and after a few seconds, a laser beam would form between them. Yeah, that doesn't sound so bad, except when the entire raid gets it, and you instantly die if you touch anyone else's laser. Basically, it was impossible to coordinate, and you needed to get a custom add-on that told you where to stand. There was also some fire that you needed to soak, which would legit take for half of your health every second. So few guilds made it out of phase 1 that Blizzard had to nerf it just so people could see more of the fight. Then during the last phase, your guild had to stay on this tiny platform while dealing with various mechanics that would actively try and push you off of it. There was this one mechanic that would go on the tank, and it was so tough to deal with that the best strategy ended up being just letting them die and then rezzing them later. Insanely difficult fight, worthy of a spot on this list for sure.
And we're going to drive it over to your house.
My house?
Yes, your house. We're going to drive it over there and park it overnight. And then tomorrow...
Man, not my house!
Let's talk about the race of insects that almost took over the world. After losing a lengthy war to the trolls, the kingdom of Akir was split in half. One half went north and became the Nerubians, and the other fled south, where they would overrun a Titan facility and convert it into a massive hive. This group would go on to rebrand themselves as the Karaji, and their new home as An-Kiraj. But the facility housed a dark secret that the Karaji didn't know about before moving in. That it was the prison of the old god Cthulhu, one of the greatest evils on Azeroth at the time. And they just unknowingly helped Cthulhu turn what was his prison into a seat of power. Now, the Karaji had worshipped old gods before, back when the kingdom of Akir was whole, so it was pretty natural for them to start sucking up to Cthulhu. And as a reward for their loyalty, Cthulhu would rebuild them in his image, giving them strength beyond what their species was capable of before. And so, for the next few thousand years, the Karaji waited patiently, bolstering their forces to one day take the world by storm. That is, until a group of player characters came in and cleaned house. RIP.
What do you think, Abdul? Can you give me a number crunch real quick?
Yeah, give me a sec. I'm coming up with 32.33, repeating, of course, percentage of survival.
Oh, that's a lot better than we usually do.
Alright, chums up.
Ready, guys?
Let's do this. Leroy Dragons!
Oh my god, he just ran in.
Save him! Oh, geez, stick it clean!
Oh, Jesus. Let's go.